I haven't done one of these lives in a while. I figure I'd go live this morning and I'd just talk with you. I had a pretty major life move yesterday, or not yesterday, but last week. I walked away from a pretty good job. Um, well, I guess pretty good is relevant. I was working at the post office. A lot of people say working at the post office is a good thing. And it is. It's got some good benefits. Most of them don't kick in until after you've been there for 2 years. But I had decided that punching a clock just really wasn't for me. I've been self employed most of the last 20 years. And I had an LLC, but I wasn't doing much with it because the post office was taking all my time. But I walked away from that last week and decided to go full time with my junk removal business, Florida Junk Removal and Hauling. And in doing so, I'm basically starting over from scratch. And I'm trying to build this business from the ground up. Now I've got experience. I got a few accounts, so I'm not starting completely from scratch. But basically, as far as running the business and doing it full time, I haven't done that in a while. So in that sense, it is from scratch. And I just wanted to start a series on here for people that are self employed or want to be self employed or are looking to grow a business. And maybe once a week I can get on here and we can discuss it. I can share some on some goals with you, the progress, strategies, stuff like that. And perhaps if you're self employed, this will help you. So what I did, the first thing I did was I sat down and I made me a growth plan for my business. I prioritized services. I uh, I really wanted to prioritize trucking, getting new commercial accounts, doing heavy hauls, and then at the end is residential pickups. I prioritize residential pickups last because that requires the most work and makes and yields the least amount of money. Now it is worthwhile. It's just if I have to build my whole business on doing residential pickups, I'm going to work a lot harder than I want to. So with the trucking, that would that was what I really wanted to bring to build up first because I can scale that. I don't have to do that. I basically broker that. And what I did this week in order to build that is I went on my website and I actually built a trucking page and I optimized it for SEO, put some pictures on there. I optimized all the pictures on there. So now when people go to my website, they can see that I'm not just a junk removal company, that I'm also a trucking company. I offer flatbed services and flatbed hauling services and low boy trucking services as well. Something else I need to work on this week is getting trucking reviews. The type of reviews you get on your Google business listing are important. If people are searching on Google for a particular service, in this instance, I'm going to use trucking as the example, but it's whatever your business is. If you get reviews specifically for that service, if they say, I've got lots of reviews about Mark was on time, lots of reviews that say Mark did a great job, he cleaned up after himself, he hauled off furniture, he hauled off appliances, stuff like this. But I don't have any reviews that say trucking. And what's going to happen if you get trucking reviews, in my case, if you get trucking reviews, or if I get trucking reviews, then when people search Google for trucking services, Google's algorithm is going to see that I'm in the area of the searcher and I have been well reviewed for trucking services. That's going to make Google display my business information to the searcher. So if I want to get more calls about trucking, I need to get more reviews that specifically say trucking. I did get a review this week. It didn't specifically say trucking, but it was about hauling heavy equipment. You can look elsewhere on my channel, and you can see where I removed a burn up excavator from somebody's property, brought in a low boy, a loader, flipped it over, got it up and loaded on the low boy. And the guy had left me a review talking about I did a good job. And I brought in some heavy equipment, that kind of thing. That's helpful, but it would have been more helpful if he'd used the actual word trucking. So this next week, my goal to build upon um, my endeavors to get more trucking business is to get a review that specifically mentions trucking. But I did build the website or the page, and I am able to share that on social media, and that's going to help. Um, I another goal that I had was to go around to um, contacts that I already have and let them know that I'm doing trucking. I did have the opportunity to do that a couple times this week. As of yet, it hasn't yielded new business, but I did plant the seeds to let people who know me, who have worked with me in the past in other capacities that utilize trucking. I've let them know, listen, I'm doing trucking now. I'd like the opportunity to earn your business. So although I didn't get a new account, I did plant seeds. I did build a website page, and I am actively seeking trucking reviews. So as long as you're moving forward, you're not moving backwards. I'm not real familiar with load boards and a hot shot trucking and stuff like that, which is a big thing if you're doing trucking. So I started watching some YouTube videos, doing some self education on load board stuff like that. Problem I'm running into with that is a lot of the load boards I'm discovering require you to have a DOT number. I don't have a DOT number because I'm not running big trucks. I broker trucks. So I know people that have trucks and I just hire them. And they have the insurance, they have the DOT number. So that eliminated about half of the load boards that are out there. The other half that don't require load boards, or the other half of the load boards that don't require DOT numbers, require insurance. As of yet, I don't have commercial insurance that covers trucking because it's not something I've been doing a lot of in the past. So I hit a little bit of a snag there because, again, I'm not running my own trucks, I'm brokering. So I got to do some more education on that. I got to do some more learning and figure out exactly how it is I'm going to get around that. So in the next week, I have a goal to study more and learn more about that particular subject. Um, the next thing I wanted to grow was my commercial accounts. Commercial accounts are good because they're repetitive. If you have a commercial business that is providing you a service, or in my case, providing me with scrap metal or junk to haul off or whatever, that's much better than a residential call, because a residential call may only use me once or twice a year. But if you're a commercial business, you're going to use me once a month. And I do the work to get the commercial account, and then I don't have to do that work anymore. The work I did to gain that commercial account will continue to pay me over and over and over and over again. And how I'm doing that is I'm offering to put out dumpsters, and I'm offering to do pickups on call. So I had the opportunity to meet the owner today, or not today, but this week, of a big aluminum company in the area. Now, obviously, aluminum companies are recycling their own stuff, but as I was talking with this guy this week, he told me he was currently selling his scrap metal to a guy that come around and bought it, but he was unhappy because he had been calling the guy for the last month, and the guy keeps telling him, I can't get to it, I can't get to it, I can't get to it, I'm too busy. So as soon as you start making a customer wait and feel like they're not important enough for you to get to, that's as soon as that customer is going to start looking to replace you. And I'm hoping this guy give me one job, and I am currently working on this job. Um, Today is Sunday, scrap yards are closed, so I'm not going there today. But I was supposed to start the job on Saturday. I actually started it a day early on Friday, and I was able to work on it Friday. I was able to work on it Saturday. And when I showed up to the job on Saturday, the guy had a tip for me. He had brought in a whole bunch of real valuable plumbing scrap, like plumbing brass, uh, a red brass, yellow brass, some copper, um, a whole bunch of stuff like that. And he had put it in a box with a sign that said thank you, so that I would see it when I pulled up on the job site. So I felt pretty good that the guy was already giving me tips. It was probably about $100 worth of scrap. So I appreciate that. And that makes me feel like I'm doing a good job. And after this job is complete, it'll probably be done tomorrow, at Tuesday at the latest. I'm hoping for the opportunity to get some more of his business, and that'll be repeat business. It'll be business I don't have to advertise for. It'll be business I don't have to go and not knock on doors for, or hand out business cards, or do anything like that, because I've already got them as a customer, and now it's just repeating and repeating and repeating. And so I can't say that I locked in a new commercial account, but I have certainly made uh, great strides of effort in that direction. Um, the other thing that I did is I went on the state of Florida website. It's called My Florida Marketplace, and I registered as a vendor. A lot of times you can get state work, but you have to be registered with the state. State departments like DOT or whatever other state departments there are, they won't deal with you unless you're a vendor with the state. And you can, if you have a business, you can sign up to be a vendor with the state for free. My Florida Marketplace .org .com, one of the two, I don't know. But either way, you basically go onto the website, you provide your basic information, your EIN number, and every service has a code. And you go in and you put in your codes, and you let the state know exactly what it is you're doing. And that allows for two things. A, it allows you to solicit state departments for your services. And the first thing they're going to ask you is, are you a state vendor? Now you can say yes, and you can provide your state vendor number. It also allows the state to solicit you for services, because whenever a state department needs something done, they go to the vendor list and they see who does this, and then they will send out notifications for you to bid on this particular service. So I haven't got any work from the state as of yet, but I do plan on taking this next week and trying to make some connections with state departments, and see if I can get something going there. When I was in business before with my previous business, metal recycling and salvage, back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, I was a state vendor, and it turned out to be pretty good move for me. So I took this week and I became a state vendor. Um, a lot of times you will have to do that for your counties and cities too. I know I was doing I know down in Naples, Florida, a few years back, they were doing a big remodeling project and they needed a bunch of dumpsters to haul off a bunch of steel um, from the project they was doing. And they told me that I had to get registered with the county, with Collier County, in order to be their vendor. So even though I was a state vendor, in this particular instance, I needed to be a county vendor as well. So the first step though is becoming a state vendor, and then whatever county or city it is you want to work in or you want to get business from, you go become a vendor in that area as well. It's all online. Once you get in with the state, you can get in with the counties and the cities. It isn't no issue. It's just an issue of A, knowing it, and B, doing it. Um, I also I have a company that I use for scrap metal dumpsters, but I don't have a company that I currently use for non-metal like C&D, construction debris, household trash, stuff like that. But I identified a company I'd like to work with, and I haven't called them as of yet. I've been busy this week on two different jobs working, but I've identified a company that I want to reach out to and try and form a relationship with. Maybe I can get their dumpsters at a discount and I could put them out whenever that kind of thing is required. So, although I haven't talked to them yet, I have at least been thinking about that, and I have identified a company I want to work with, and I will contact them later this week. I'll report back to you. The other thing I did is I spent some time looking up networking groups in my area. Um, the area that I'm in is North Fort Myers. It's kind of small. There isn't a whole lot of big networking groups, but I identified the Chamber of Commerce, the North Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce. It's $299 to join for the year. And I didn't see a whole lot about what they offer in the form of networking opportunities or what they offer for their members. They do have a website, but it's a little vague. But on the website, I was able to identify the president. And coincidentally, when I worked for the post office, I actually delivered mail to this guy in his business. So I know exactly where he's at and I know who he is. And probably this next week on a down day, if there's a day I'm not working or something like that on a job, then I will be going over to his office and I will be talking to him about joining the North Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce and what their benefits are and that kind of thing. And I'll report back to you. I also want to expand into the area of Punta Gorda. And I started looking at networking groups in Punta Gorda. And I found one that meets on a Tuesday. And I believe it's membership based, but on on the website it didn't give a whole lot of information about what it costs to join, what the requirements are. But there was a form on the website that you could fill out to request to be a visitor, and I filled it out. As of yet, nobody has replied to me by email, but I got the information of the group, of the day, the time, the location. It's on the website. So I think I'm going to go Tuesday morning, and I'm just going to show up, and I'll, I'll see what they say. If I wait for them to reply to me, I don't know if they will or if they won't. It's been almost a week and they haven't. So I'm going to be proactive. I'm just going to show up. You know, they say the early bird gets the worm, but he only gets what's left over from those that were up before him. You know, so I believe in being proactive. And if you're a business owner, there are times you are going to have to be proactive. and go after what you want. Um, Something else I started doing is when I'm on site, I started creating videos of what I was doing, talking, explaining, and then showing some of the stuff I was doing. I made some videos this week, cutting up a pontoon boat. Made a video where I flipped over an excavator, was hauling an excavator. I got some other videos that are in the editing process. I'll be sharing in the upcoming weeks. But what happens is I take these videos, and my wife, I appreciate her, she will edit them for me, and then I share them on social media. I share them in Facebook groups, which is where a lot of my work has been coming from lately. If you're not utilizing Facebook groups, you definitely should be. I get more work from sharing from my business page to a Facebook group than I do off of Google, than I do from handing out business cards, than I do from anything else. If you're trying to grow your business and you're not utilizing Facebook groups, you are missing a great opportunity. So when I was in business before, I didn't really do that. I didn't shoot videos. I didn't do stuff like that. But it's a new strategy that I am implementing, and so far it's working out great. The the other thing I did is I changed the oil in my truck. I use my truck to pull trailers. It's an integral part of my business, and you have to take care of your tools. You have to take care of your equipment. And I uh, I took the opportunity yesterday, and I went and I serviced my truck. I got it ready for another week of work, and I have identified a shop. I need a gooseneck hitch. I got a gooseneck trailer that I have just acquired, but I don't have a hitch to pull it. I do have the rails because I have a fifth wheel hitch, not installed, but I do have one, and it comes with a rail system. So I as I was doing the oil change yesterday, there's a mechanic shop that's right next door, and I had talked to them about installing my hitch rails, and I'm going to go up later this week, and I'm going to get that done. That's going to increase my capabilities right there. So I have put a lot of work in this week, aside from just doing a great job on the jobs that I'm doing. And when I finished the jobs that I was doing this week, I asked for reviews, proactively asked for reviews. And I was at 99 reviews prior to this week. I'm now at 101. Now, what that does for me is a couple things. Allows me to say I have over a 100 5-star Google reviews, which is a big deal. And it shows Google I've got 2 more 5-star reviews this week, which is going to help me in the algorithm when people are looking for my services. I'm steadily getting reviews every week. The Google algorithm likes that. If Google sees that you are getting reviews every week on your business, then Google, the algorithm feels comfortable providing your information to people who are searching for your services. It lets them know you're trustworthy and they're not giving bad information. Google is a service just like any other service. You could go to Yahoo, you could go to AOL, you could go to Bing, you could do all of this. But people come to Google because because they trust it. And Google wants to maintain their level of trustworthiness. So they don't want to recommend a business that they can't trust. Therefore, they created the Google review system. If you are in business, you must get reviews every week. I'm an SEO specialist. That's what I do aside from junk removal. And the more reviews you get, the higher you will rank in local search. And local search is where people go. Some people refer to it as maps, but that's where people go when they're looking for services that they need right now. So I was able to grow my business in that regard as well. I now have 101 Google reviews. Hopefully by the end of next week, I'll have more than that. So the other thing that I did to grow my business was I set goals for next week. I'm going to attend the networking group. I'm going to have the rails installed. I'm going to get a trucking review, and I'm going to continue to ask for referrals. And I'm probably going to go ahead and try and get on my county vendor list as well as the surrounding county vendor list. So if you are trying to grow your business, I hope you will stay tuned to this channel and follow me each week as I give updates on this subject. I got a few people here that are saying hi. I'll say hello back to you. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off for this morning.